Hey kiddos, so I know there's a lot on the screen, but we're gonna walk through the check your work because you should have, if you're watching this video, you've already watched the Making Inferences We Do 2 instructional video. And so you know that you've worked on card 12 and card 14, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk through it together, all right? So here we go. All right, so Wimo, this is our goal, right? You should have rewatched the model video because it helps you. Okay, so this is the goal. I will be able to use details in the text to make inferences about my reading with RAP. Okay, we've already made these inferences. So automatically, we've already met half of this goal because you did that last week. What's different about it today is that we actually took those inferences and we put them into RAP. Okay, so remember, this is a we do. We were working on it together. So let's look at the first one. Let's see if I can get that moved. Perfect. Okay, so let's look at the first one. So like I said, you've already made these inferences. I'm just going to walk through it for you. Okay, here we go. The bus was full of children. Everyone was laughing and talking. Ben scratched a mosquito bite on his leg. It had been a fun week, but he was glad that tonight he would be sleeping in his own bed instead of a sleeping bag. So here was the question. Where was the bus coming from? So where had Ben at? That's funny. Where had Ben at? That's the only way I know how to say that. And so where was the bus coming from? So what you should have already done last week is you've typed that inference in and you gave me some text clues. So let's walk through some things that we see here that might help us and give us some text clues. Well, we know that he was on a bus. That's what the question says. Everyone was laughing, talking. Ooh, here's a good clue right here. He was scratching a mosquito bite, which means he's been outside somewhere. Here's another clue. He'd been gone a week. And tonight he was going to sleep in his own bed instead of a sleeping bag. So that's 3 really good clues. He's got a mosquito bite. He's been gone a whole week and he's been sleeping in a sleeping bag. So remember, when we make inferences, I look at my clues in the text. That's what we've just done. And now I've got to use my background knowledge. What do I know? What do I know about a kid who's got mosquito bites, that's been away for a week, and he's been sleeping in a sleeping bag? He's been at camp, right? Ben has been at camp, okay? So that's what my inference would be. So let's walk through how to put this into RAP, okay? So I know my R stands for restate. So my R should say the bus is coming from, because what was the question? The question is, where was the bus coming from? So I take my words from the question and I put them in my answer. The bus is coming from camp. Right? A, we already say is the easiest part, right? We've made the inference. We know Ben has been away at camp. So that's my answer. So far I have the bus is coming from, that's my restate. Answer, camp. Let's look at the last part. Now, remember, we've talked about this. When we prove, when we use the P, we are doing 2 things. The first thing we are doing is always having a sentence stem. In the text, it said, this tells whoever is reading your work that you pulled the next, whatever they're going to read next, came straight word for word from the passage. And that's part 2, right? We say in the text it said, part 2 is I actually pull from the text. So I'm going to pull word for word exactly how the author wrote it. So let's check what I said here. In the text it said, Ben scratched a mosquito bite on his leg. And so you see how I have Ben and leg with quotation marks. It's because Ben scratched a mosquito bite on his leg comes word for word out of the passage. Then I write and because I'm saying that I'm going to add another sentence from the passage with a quotation mark. It should say he would be sleeping in his own bed instead of a sleeping bag with another quotation mark, showing again that this comes word for word from the text. He would be sleeping in his own bed instead of a sleeping bag. Okay, kiddos, so here are 3 parts. R, restate. I'm going to pull words from the question. Where was the bus coming from? Well, here's my restate. The bus is coming from. Okay, I've got words like bus, coming, and from, all from the question in my answer, okay? The bus is coming from, in my answer, camp, okay? And then my P standing for prove, I'm going to use my sentence stem in the text it said, and then I'm going to pull word for word from the passage. So over here, kiddos, on your piece of paper, that's what you should have written. The bus, don't have to capitalize bus. The bus is and if you have it separated like I do, that's fine. The bus is coming from, we can do this right here, like this, camp. In the text, it said, Ben scratched a mosquito is a hard word. Who else is covered in mosquito bites right now? They have been so bad at my house lately. He would be sleeping in his own bed instead of a sleeping bag. I know that when I come home, Mr. Cody and I have a camper. It's in Heber Springs because Mr. Cody, like I told you guys, he's a fly fisherman. So that's his job. His job is to catch fish with people all day. So we're in Heber all the time. And I cannot tell you, as much as I love our camper, I love coming home and sleeping in my own bed. And that's part of my background knowledge, knowing that we go to camp, we're camping in our camper, right? And so that kind of helps give me that hint of, oh, Ben must have been away at camp, okay? So that's what your work is going to look like, just like what I have here. All right, one more, kiddos. Let's check card 14. No. Oh, did I have those backwards? I sure did. Oh, kiddos, I'm so sorry. I wrote that on the wrong thing. That is my mistake. I should have been looking more carefully. What we just did together was card 14. I apologize. What we are about to do together now is card 12. Okay, so you should have, and check the card. I should have checked the card. I apologize. So here on 14, we know it's about Ben. This is what you should have on slide number 2. Okay, so let's go to slide 1, card 12. Here we go. Sasha handed the book to the librarian. The librarian opened the book and found crayon scribbles on almost every page. I'm really sorry, said Sasha. I should have kept the book in my room. So here's our question. We've already answered it, right? What happened to Sasha's library book? When I'm making an inference, I pull clues from the text, my background knowledge, put them together to make an inference, okay? So let's find some clues in the text. The book was full of crayon scribbles on almost every page. And then Sasha says, I should have kept the book in my room. So now that I have my clues in the text, I'm thinking about, what do I know? Okay, well, who do we know that scribbles on everything? Who scribbles on everything all the time? If they can get their hands on it, they're going to color on it. And Sasha is saying, I should have kept it in my room, which means somebody probably got a hold of it that shouldn't have. Well, I know that when I was, y'all's age and I had 2 little brothers, oh my goodness, they colored on the walls, they colored on the table, they colored on everything they could color on. And so I'm going to make the inference based on the crown scribbles everywhere and keeping it in my room that Sasha has a little brother, little sister, maybe a little baby cousin that is with them that has colored in her book. Okay, so now that we've made that inference, and like I said, you guys already should have last week, let's put that into wrap. So I know that when I restate, I'm pulling words from the question into my answer. So it says, what happened to Sasha's library book? Sasha's library book was. Or if you wanted to restate it and say the thing that happened to Sasha's library book was, or what happened to Sasha's library book was. As long as you are letting me know that you're talking about Sasha's library book, I'm cool on the restate, okay? Our answer, we're going to put our inference in that slot, colored in by her little brother or sister. And your answer is going to sound a little bit different than mine. That's fine, so long as we're hitting at the point that some sort of sibling or baby cousin colored in the book, okay? Now, here's the proof part, and this is going to sound almost the same no matter who wrote it, because we're using the same sentence stem and we're pulling it word for word from the passage. It's not our words, kiddos, it's the author's words. So I always start with in the text it said, and then I'm going to pull word for word from the passage. So you can see this is where I started. The librarian opened the book and found crayon scribbles on almost every page. And look at that, kiddos. That is word for word from the passage. And then I have my and to tell that I'm going to add another sentence. I should have kept the book in my room. Right here, I should have kept the book in my room. Okay? So I'm pulling word for word from the passage. So just like in card 14, kiddos, what you're going to have here is Sasha's. And again, yours is going to sound a little bit different from mine because when we do open response, no two answers ever sound the same. They never ever sound the same. Okay. So your answer may look a little different. Your restate may look a little different. Even the text that you chose to quote may be a little bit different. But overall, we're making the same point, right? That we understood the question because we restated it. We are able to answer the question because we used our inferencing skills and could do that. And we can prove, that's what that P stands for, we can prove our answer by citing word for word evidence from the text to support that, hey, I know what I'm talking about. My answer is correct, okay? So we get it all. This is what yours is going to look like when it's done. Okay. Boom. So let's put this, well, not full screen because you'll lose me, but pull it big. Okay, here we go. So on card 12, you're going to have where it says something along the lines of Sasha's library book was colored in by her little brother or sister. In the text, it said the librarian opened the book and found crayon scribbles on almost every page. And Sasha said, I should have kept the book in my room. Okay, so that comes straight from our passage. You have highlight bars over those lines. You'd already put the inference here. All we're doing, kiddos, is taking what we already know how to do and putting it into wrap. Okay, we're baby stepping it. On card 14, very much the same thing. You already have your highlight bars. You've already put your inference in. What you have down here is in wrap. Restating, the bus is coming from. Answer, can't, prove, in the text it said, word for word from the passage, Ben scratched a mosquito bite on his leg, and he would be sleeping in his own bed instead of a sleeping bag. Okay, kiddos? Y'all are rock stars. If yours did not look like mine, today in your exit ticket, that's what you're about to go out and do is wrap exit ticket 1. There's going to be a spot that says, how did you do on the we do? And you're going to rank yourself, okay? And be honest with me. If this was really hard for you, if your answers and my answers don't look anything alike, you need to tell me that, okay? Because that tells me, hey, we may need a little bit of extra support, and that's okay. I want you to think back to Mojo. When we don't know how to do something, we don't know how to do something yet. Doesn't mean we're never going to figure it out. It just means right now in this moment, I don't know yet. Okay? When we ask for help and we make mistakes, our brains grow stronger. So let me be there for you to help you make your brain grow stronger like Mojo. Okay? And we're gonna work on it together, and it's fine. This is only day 2 of using wrap. This is the first time that you're trying to do it without me at all. So it's okay to struggle. Struggling is good. It means our brain is growing. Okay, so let me know in the exit ticket how you did, if you struggled, if you feel like you want to Zoom or need some help, please let me know. I'll look forward to seeing your exit tickets. I look forward to seeing how we're doing. And again, if you have questions, shoot me a message on Classroom. Okay, kiddos, see you.